The movie opens up with a young man named John desperately sprinting through the dense woodland, seeking an exit before nightfall. His watch has ceased functioning, and he continually finds himself at the same ominous spot, confronted by multiple signs marked "Point of No Return" with varying numbers. Suddenly, a flock of birds soars above him, signaling the arrival of night. In a frantic bid to hide, he attempts to climb a tree, but the branch snaps, sending him tumbling to the ground. Terrified, John reaches into his bag for a knife. A mysterious creature appears and drags him away into the darkness. Meanwhile, in the bustling city, Mina, an American immigrant and artist, works at a pet store. One afternoon, her boss introduces her to a bird that needs to be delivered to a zoo in another city and asks her to make the trip. Mina names the bird Darwin and takes him home, sharing that it's the 15th anniversary of her mother's death, and she plans to go out that night to forget the sorrow. She dons a wig and adopts a fake identity to socialize at a bar. The next morning, she confides in Darwin, explaining her penchant for disguise stems from feeling unlikable in her true self. She then embarks on the journey to deliver Darwin, driving through the countryside and only stopping for gas. During the trip, Mina receives a call from her twin sister, which she ignores, choosing to listen to the voicemail later. Her sister chastises her for missing their mother's memorial, urging her to stop avoiding the family after 15 years. Unfazed, Mina drives on, oblivious to a sign listing dozens of missing people near the forest. As she traverses the unfamiliar terrain, her phone and car radio malfunction, and her car breaks down, leaving her stranded. She exits the vehicle and discovers a point of no return sign, prompting her to think someone might live nearby. Grabbing her bag and Darwin, she ventures into the forest, calling for help. When she turns back, the car has vanished, forcing her to keep moving in search of an exit. As night descends, a flock of birds suddenly takes flight above her, and she hears unsettling noises. She spots an old woman running nearby and chases after her. The woman enters a building, urging Mina to follow if she wants to live. Inside, Mina meets two more people, Ciara and Daniel. The old woman introduces herself as Madeline, explaining that they too got lost in the forest and now take refuge in this building, which they call the Coop. Madeline warns Mina about the creatures outside, known as the Watchers, who come every night to observe them through the window and leave by dawn. She makes Mina step forward, and the Watchers can be heard clapping, welcoming her to their grim spectacle. The following morning, ignoring the others' warnings, Mina leaves the Coop and wanders through the forest. She hears her name being whispered and sees a girl questioning her actions from a distance. Mina runs to the top of a hill, realizing she's in the middle of an endless forest. Returning to the Coop, Madeline tells her that the forest induces hallucinations and madness. The signs are markers set in a circle around a half-day journey from the Coop, and crossing them means never returning. They were placed by someone known as the Professor. With no other option, Mina rejoins the group. In the evening, Daniel announces Mina's return to the show, and Ciara plays music to entertain the Watchers. They distract themselves with DVDs of a reality show, and Mina notices the professor's name on one of the boxes. The next day, the group searches for food, and Ciara teaches Mina about medicinal plants, mentioning that Daniel often gets headaches. John, Ciara's husband, left 6 days ago and hasn't been seen since. Ciara also shares Madeline's theory that seeing a Watcher can drive someone insane. She shows Mina a burrow, explaining that they're part of an extensive underground tunnel system where the Watchers reside during the day. Shockingly, Ciara reveals she and John arrived 5 months ago, but lost track of time. Over lunch, Madeline instructs Mina on the survival rules. Never turn your back to the mirror, never open the door after dark, never go near the burrows, and always stay in the light. They chant the rules together in a haunting manner. Mina keeps herself occupied by watching the reality show and sketching. At night, she stares at the mirror and hears noises outside, remaining skeptical. One night, she goes to bed early, causing the creatures to roar and screech outside, prompting Madeline to make her stare at the mirror until they calm down. Later, Daniel checks their animal traps, mentioning he used to hunt with John. Mina tags along and repeatedly sees the little girl in the forest. Daniel explains that Madeline used to be a university teacher and believes she knows everything. He's been in the forest for 8 months and has never seen a Watcher. Both Daniel and Mina doubt Madeline's story, and Mina suggests exploring a burrow, ignoring Daniel's fearful protests. Using a rope held by Daniel, Mina descends into the burrow, finding abandoned objects, including a 1992 newspaper, a video camera, and a plush rabbit. She sends a bicycle up to Daniel through the rope, but hears a strange noise in the darkness. A hand with 6 fingers emerges, speaking in an unknown language, and Mina screams for Daniel, who finally pulls her up. Back at the Coop, Mina shows Ciara and Madeline the items they found, found. Mina believes the bicycle could help them escape, but Madeline disagrees, sensing that Mina has seen something. Mina denies it, and Daniel connects the camera to the coupe's power source, creating a basic surveillance system. That night, they wait for something to appear on the screen. Suddenly, legs appear, and someone knocks on the door. Ciara hears John's voice, begging to be let in, but Madeline forbids it, reminding them that the Watchers can mimic voices. John fails to answer a personal question, confirming Madeline's suspicions. Still in denial, Ciara asks John to show his face on camera. John appears, pleading for help before being dragged away. The camera breaks, and the Watcher outside furiously hits the coupe's mirror until it cracks. The next morning, Madeline throws the bicycle back into the burrow, hoping to appease the Watchers. Mina promises she will stop breaking the rules. In the burrow, the bicycle is swiftly dragged into the darkness. A flashback reveals a young Mina on a car ride with her sister and mother, showing that the little girl in the forest resembles the twins from that time. Mina's constant rule-breaking had sparked an argument with her mother, who forcibly closed the car window, catching Mina's fingers. Her scream distracted her mother, leading to a car crash. In the present, Mina sketches the forest's signs and reflects on how it's messing with her mind, marking the trees she's already checked. As weeks pass, the days grow colder and shorter, and everyone begins to lose hope and sanity. Mina overhears Madeline scolding Daniel for not catching any food, fearing they might starve. Inside the coupe, Ciara distracts herself with the reality show while Mina doodles on the floor. Suddenly, she notices Ciara is missing. Mina rushes into the forest and finds Ciara standing at the edge of a burrow, contemplating suicide to reunite with John. They hear a scream and follow it to find Daniel tying up Madeline. Madeline claims Daniel has gone mad, but he declares they will now follow their own rules before running back to the coupe. Ciara chases him, but Mina stays behind to free Madeline. They return to the coupe to find the door locked by Daniel and Ciara. As birds begin to circle, Mina and Madeline hide in a trap, hoping the rotting smell will mask their scent. While Ciara and Daniel stand before the mirror, a Watcher appears above the trap, fails to detect them, and heads to the coupe. The Watcher roars, summoning more of its kind. As they approach the coupe, Daniel reveals that 2 members are missing, prompting the Watchers to hunt for Mina and Madeline. With the area cleared, Mina and Madeline rush to the door, pleading for mercy. Mina recounts how she caused her mother's death and warns Daniel that he will be haunted by a similar mistake. The door finally opens, and they scramble inside, locking it behind them. Madeline reprimands Daniel, stating she should have killed him months ago, but now they must focus on dealing with the Watchers. As the group gathers in front of the mirror, Madeline explains her background in folklore and mythology, revealing she came to the forest for research. On her first night, she encountered a deformed Watcher. These creatures, also known as changelings or fairies, study humans to eventually become them. A Watcher starts knocking on the door, mimicking Ciara's voice to beg for help. More Watchers climb over the coupe, imitating human voices to lure them out. The group barricades the door with a table and discovers a hidden square under the carpet. As the Watchers grow more aggressive, Daniel breaks open the square, revealing a bunker. They quickly descend into the bunker with Darwin, sealing the hatch just before the Watchers break into the coupe. Inside, they find the professor's workspace, filled with files, books, and enough food to last a while. There's also an old computer with no internet, but Mina finds video diary entries starting from 2009. Professor Rory expresses his fascination with the creatures watching him. Each video shows Rory's gradual descent into madness. He eventually admits that the people he hired to build the coupe were killed by the Watchers daily. In another video, Rory captures a Watcher, hoping to befriend it, but the creature remains furious. The final video, recorded on day 300, shows Rory admitting defeat and planning to kill the Watcher and himself. He leaves a message for anyone who finds the videos, revealing he hid a boat on a river past sign 134, which can be found by following the birds. Rory also requests that his belongings at the university be destroyed. Mina cries upon hearing the gunshots in the recording. The group agrees to leave on the boat in the morning, and Ciara plays music to celebrate. She tries to cheer up Daniel, who becomes depressed as he shares his story of getting lost in the forest while escaping an abusive father. Ciara promises he can stay with her once they escape, and they share a hug. The next morning, the group follows Mina's marks until they find sign 134. They release Darwin and follow him through the forest, eventually finding a stone marker. Madeline explains this is where fairies were imprisoned after losing their war against humans. Stripped of their wings and magic, they now can't stand the sun. As the group continues running, Mina keeps seeing the little girl. Rain starts, and birds fly around them, signaling nightfall. The Watcher's approach prompts the group to hurry until they reach the river. The women get on the boat, but Daniel hears John's voice and hesitates. Seconds later, Daniel appears dragging John to the shore. Ciara warns him it's not real, but it's too late. The fake John transforms and kills Daniel with its claws. The creature's body goes blank as more Watchers surround it, watching the trio as they row away. Madeline reassures them that the Watchers can't leave the forest. By morning, the women and Darwin reach a bridge and wait for a bus. The driver lets them aboard, allowing them to relax as they return to the city. Later, while Mina showers, memories of her mother's death flood back. She recalls lying in the road, her sister calling for her, revealing scars on her face. The following day, Mina visits the university to honor Rory's last request, pretending to be his niece. She finds the blueprint for the coup, the first draft of a research paper on the Watchers, and a tape recorder with some of Rory's research following an illustrated scroll. Before the war, fairies lived peacefully with humans as friends, and sometimes even mates. These couples produced half-blood children who could walk in the sun, and Rory believed they might still be hiding in society as humans. Mina stares at a huge piece of art and finds some photographs that leave her in shock. That evening, Mina visits Ciara and shows her the pictures, revealing that Madeline had been Rory's wife, who died in 2001 from lung cancer. Mina theorizes that Rory tried to use the captured Watcher to bring his wife back, and that the Watcher became the Madeline they met. Just then, a car arrives, and the real Ciara appears, meaning the Madeline Watcher has been impersonating Ciara all along. The real Ciara enters the house, and the Watcher crawls on the ceiling before transforming into John, using his voice to distract Ciara and knock her unconscious. Mina tries to escape, but the Watcher catches her, throwing her around while complaining about humans and taking Daniel's form. As a mirror breaks from the struggle, Mina grabs a shard for defense, but the Watcher drags her around, thanking her for helping it escape the forest. The Watcher then goes outside, taking Madeline's form, and explains it always wanted to leave the forest because the other Watchers mocked it for being able to walk in the sun, calling it daywalker and deformity. It sought Rory's help to escape, but when he tried to shoot it, the Watcher killed him first. In a few seconds, the Watcher transforms into Rory and then into Mina, grabbing the real Mina by the neck, intending to kill her and take her body. Mina confesses that Rory had a secret, and the Watcher releases her to listen. She tells it about the half-bloods hiding among humans. The Watcher realizes that while living as Madeline, it felt human emotions due to its mixed blood. Suddenly, its body transforms to reveal wings. It flies to the roof and tells Mina it hopes she's right about others of its kind before flying away. Afterward, Mina checks on Ciara, who is thankfully fine. Later, Mina reconciles with her sister and her kids, sharing her experiences in the forest. She explains that she sometimes feels like the Madeline Watcher is hiding in the crowds, watching her. It takes different forms, but the most common one is the little girl Rory saw. The movie concludes as Darwin watches the streets from the window, and the Watcher stares back at him. And with that, the movie ends. I hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen and don't forget to subscribe for amazing videos. See you in the next one.